Hi guys, it's Laura here from Budget Music Videos. Today I decided to start doing some editing tutorials. Obviously I've taught you all about making music videos and directing and loads of different things. So today I actually wanted to show you my editing setup for a typical music video. Obviously I edit and film music videos nearly every day, so it's kind of the same sort of format for a lot of things. But today I'm going to show you quite an interesting music video because in this particular one there's not really much of an artist in it. It's actually a storyline about two dancers and the love and the romance of these two dancers. So if you can see, this is currently my timeline. I have literally blocked it in and just rough cutted it. So I have tried to sync all the shots in time with the music originally. Because there's no singing in it, it's more the dancers dancing to the beat and to the rhythm of the song. So I've synced it, the dancers' music with the actual song of the artist. This particular video was shot within a very simple white infinity studio in London. It was filmed by one of my favourite guys at the minute who's working for me, Mr. Nitin Laxman, and he's very good at his film work. So the film work is very, very good. It's just a case of me putting it together and giving it musicality and giving it the depth that it needs. So there's lots of variation of shots, obviously. You can't do a lot when you're doing something in a white studio. You know, you got wide shots, mid shots and close shots, and it doesn't get much more interesting than that. But what's interesting about this video is that the dancers are actually telling a story about their relationship and the love and things like that. So I'm actually editing today on Corel Video Studio 9. I've recently been using Corel quite a lot because, I don't know, I just really like the layout and I like working with it. I think it's very easy to use, and it's a great software for anyone who maybe likes to see everything. And I don't know, I just like the whole layout of the software. I think it's a very simple software to use as well. So today I am just going to show you how I do things like syncing, how I do things like fixing color, how I do things like creating musicality with the shots. How I overlay shots to create like a couple of different effects that I do, my most common types of crossfades and transitions and a few different things, and the way I make a music video look, especially something like this that is quite simple but you still want to give it that creative edge. So I'll show you what I've actually done so far. If I go to the start, it's quite an interesting song because the song goes from slow to fast, slow to fast, slow to fast. So it's kind of, the video is kind of in sync to that. I always generally start with my first minute of my music video. I'll spend a lot of time on that. And you can see there's lots of cuts all along here. And I'll spend a lot of time on my first minute because I tend to find it sets the tone for the whole music video. And once I've decided on what's happening in the first minute, then I can do the rest of the video very, very quickly. So if I just show you quickly what I've done so far, I'll show you the first minute to give you an idea of
when you see the world in all its valor, when you see the love, hear the heartbeat of a butterfly, when you dream in color.
Okay, so you can see from the first minute there that the first 36 seconds is very slow, and then the second 30 seconds is quite upbeat and fast, and it's quite a jazz song. So I've tried to make it move in that sense. Now, what the very first thing I do, very first thing I do when I sit down to edit a project. Now, this particular project, I wasn't there for filming, so I'm completely unaware of the footage. However, I did produce it and I did plan it, and I did script it and everything else. So I knew exactly what shots we were taking. I planned the choreography in the sense of what storyline I wanted the choreography to say, and it was a scene by scene. So section by section of this particular song was planned. So I knew obviously what was being filmed. I just wasn't there when they physically filmed it on the day of filming. So when I got the footage back, then I still have to sit and I have to look through it all. And you can see up here on the right all the different shots. Now, there's quite a few. You'll see there's like 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 of the same sort of shot. And I mean, a lot of this, when you're doing your first shots, is setting the shot, and they're setting lighting, and they're rehearsing, and they're practicing this sort of thing. So you can see I'm generally just going to, usually I can scrub through it, and I can see what is in the shot, and you know, I can browse through it pretty quickly if I scroll through it, and I might watch it just to double check what part of the song it is. The great thing about this video was it was actually all filmed, you know, bit by bit on the song. So it wasn't filmed back to front, or, you know, the end part of the song was done first. So I can actually go through this quite quickly and point out the first 10 shots are to do with the first 30 seconds. The second, 10 shots are to do with the next 30 seconds, because it was all filmed in the order it was actually, the song is actually produced in. So, which makes my job so much easier. So if we go through it, obviously they started with a wide shot, then they did like a half shot, which is quite a nice shot as well, and it gets just kind of removes the legs, and then they went for close shots, which are just getting her facial expressions and his facial expressions, which is really great for little shots that fly in very, very quickly, and then detail shots of the hand. And then really great shots of the legs, actually the feet. That was, I mean, I didn't think it would look so good. I think it looks really great because there's lovely shadow and stuff coming down. So that's generally the template that was used for each scene, as well as one singing shot. Now, the singing shot in particular is supposed to be a fly on the wall type thing. It's supposed to be he's there, but he's not really there. You know, he's watching the story and he's singing about the story. It wasn't supposed to be, here's the singer. It wasn't the style of the video we were going for. It's more about the dancers. But we just wanted to have the guy who sang the song just part of it a little bit. But as you can watch, if you watch the way I've done the edit, I have made him sort of faded. So up here you'll see he's faded. He's not quite in the shot. Again, he's faded and blurred out here. And it is that fly on the wall type idea. So first thing I did was obviously look through all the footage, and I could see very quickly that everything was in order, which is great. So it was filmed in order of the song, so all I have to do is just really block it in and sync it. So I sat and I synced everything, and you can see my timeline. It's kind of all blocked in. These are all the shots that I need, and they're all synced in time with the music. But the first minute I've started working on it, and I've started putting in the effects, and I've started putting in the overlays and extra shots that I need. Now, I'm quite tidy with my timelines. I don't like to put, I know a lot of people put every single shot on a timeline and then take from it that way. I think that's a really confusing way to edit. And what I actually do is line them up. Like, so there's the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots, or 7 shots, and I've put them all on the top line. And then, because the great thing about music videos is you're copy and pasting, and all you're doing is taking that shot to make it sync. I mean, say it's the singing shot. To make it sync in the next part, all you're doing is copying it down to your timeline, making sure it's lined up and then dragging it over there. Well, not dragging it, sorry, extending it. Don't drag it, because then you lose the sync. Extending it, say I wanted him to be singing there, and if I play that, that's going to be automatically synced.
See the love.
It's hard to see his mouth singing in that particular shot, but just to give you an idea, you know, when we're trying to sync stuff, the great thing is all you're doing is copy and pasting. So once it's synced, I mean, I know there's a lot of softwares out there that will do the syncing for you. So you literally put the shots in and you press a button. I think Adobe Premiere does that. Automatic syncing, and I think Sony Vegas as well, somebody told me. So with Corel, unfortunately it doesn't, but I'm old school, and because I do this every day, lip syncing is never an issue. I can lip sync so quickly, it's unreal. I've got a gift for hearing the music, so as long as you've got a good set of headphones on, you can do it pretty quickly. So yeah, so that's what I do first, is I sit and I sync the shots. Now for this video, because it's scene by scene, I actually rough cut everything in for every scene right to the end. So I've got all the shots in now. So now I need to put the creativity into the video. So give it that movement and the musicality and the transitions. And obviously I haven't not even thought about color tone, or if I'm going to put a tint, if I'm going to grade it, if I need to sharpen it, if I need to, I don't know, improve the gamma, all those kinds of things, if I need to fix the brightness or the exposure or whatever. So I haven't even thought about those things. All I've thought about at this point is getting the shots in and trying to figure out what style I was going for. So as I showed you before, the style is, I mean, obviously every shot you can see up here is a simple shot, yeah? So what I wanted to do was create a bit of creativity by overlaying them. So as you can see this shot here in the timeline here, what I've done is I've overlaid two shots, yeah? Now they both blend in. Now the second shot blends out quicker and leaves this shot then alone. But what I've done, this shot in particular, I've first of all made it black and white, which is cool. I put monochrome on it, and then I chroma keyed it. So I removed out the white, which is quite straightforward to do. I mean, every software is different how it manages this sort of thing. This is how you do it in Corel. You can take your pen and you can identify the color you want to eliminate. Now with this particular video, I faded it right down as well. So once I chroma keyed it, then I faded it. So if I didn't fade it, it would look like that. Because I didn't really want this section. I thought it didn't look right. So, and I really just wanted it to be almost ghostly. I didn't want it to be so strong in the shot. So that's why I put it up to 50, and you can see it's almost faded out and it's quite nice. And you can also see there's a lot of yellowy oranges there and stuff. And I had to go and fix the white balance. My white balance has lots of different variations in it. By clicking it and playing about with colors, I can fix. It was looking a bit orangey. So I was able to chroma key it white and remove all this outer edge. I had to fix the white balance as well. So this particular shot, now that's what it looks like. Now if I show you another example, if we go to this second shot of the entire video, so what I did here is I wanted to have the girl in the shot, this close up in the shot. Now if I wanted to, I could make that not be faded, but I didn't want to take away from what was going on here. I just wanted it to be like artistic, if you want to call it. But what I did do, because there was an issue with lines, because sometimes this happens depending on how it was filmed, there was an issue with the line coming off this shot, because this shot is moved. I've moved it way over to the left, and this line was really visible in the shot. So what I did, I had to play around with the chroma key and things like that, but I took the original shot here and put it over it again and chroma keyed it. So then it took away the line that was left from this shot. So it needed to be 3 shots to eliminate the line that was created off this shot. if that makes sense. I know that sounds really confusing. If I delete this shot out, I'll show you what I mean. You can see it. The line from here, it's hard to see it probably on the screen, but when I expand it, I usually can see it, and it really annoys me. So just to cover my back, hang on, wait 1 second. Oh, bump. Oh, actually, you can't see it. I don't know why I could see it before. Sometimes you'll see the line, which is the edge of the shot, because I moved the shot way over. I can't see it here. Anyway, and that's what I would do. If I can see a line for whatever reason and I can't fix it with the chroma key, so I've obviously gone in and played around with the chroma key, so faded it out, played around with the different options to get rid of all this white. Then that's what I do. I add an extra shot. And this shot is also been chroma keyed. It's not like, how to explain? It's also been chroma keyed. So you can see when it starts to go into the next shot, it's coming up there and it's overlaid it. But it just means it's much clearer. Oh no, the other reason, I've just remembered why I did that. What I find with this software sometimes is when you overlay something, like, you know, a shot, like that particular headshot, if you overlay that headshot, it sometimes doesn't eliminate all the color. So obviously there would be a line, but also what it can do is actually fade a little bit of this person or whatever is there. So if there's not a line, and sometimes if it wasn't filmed well, because if you need your lighting to be perfect and your camera skills to be perfect, then sometimes I find that this can be faded. And that's why I put the secondary shot on top, to make sure that she's not faded in any way. It's just a very simple trick. Sometimes you have to do it and sometimes you don't. You'll find I've done it in some places and not in other places. It just depends on the shots that I'm using and how they've been filmed and the lighting. So if you continue on, so I wanted to create these overlays. So I did them a few times. This shot again coming in with her, just kind of like she's faded, not quite there. And then this particular shot here was quite a difficult one. This shot that I used is actually her dancing. So let me just play it for you for a sec. You see her dancing? See the love. So what I wanted to do there, and this wasn't easy. For some reason, they didn't do it. She was just doing freestyle dancing, but they didn't film it on a white background. What they did was actually dim all the lights and make it dark. So in fact, when you see the shot, she's actually dancing on much darker. It's actually on the white background, but they reduced all the light and therefore it made it look grey when it was filmed. So the only way for me to edit that out was obviously when I chroma keyed it. Obviously I removed the grey as best I could, and then I had to fade her down, because what I found was that she started to look a bit, it didn't look nice. She almost looks animated or something, and I just didn't really like it, so I just faded it out. I don't know, it's okay. It just doesn't work with the whole video. I think it being a theme throughout is that it's faded is much better. So if I just put that back, I just go undo. You know, I want it to be there, but I don't want it to be so noticeable that it takes away from the main story. So what I want to do, and then obviously because I overlaid it with an extra shot here as well, just so that it wasn't so bad with the lines and things like that. Now, what I'm probably going to do is probably bring down a bit of the gamma and stuff in some of these shots, because I find that they could just be a wee bit sharper and a wee bit more interesting. But I'll do that later on when I've decided on what I'm doing, because once I decide what I'm doing, I can easily copy and paste the attributes once I change attributes. So if I'm changing the gamma and I want it just a little bit, see, wow, it just makes such a difference, you know, doing something like that. To me right now, it looks kind of bland and faded, but if I drop it down, you know, there you go, you got gorgeous sharp. I mean, the white of his skin is now different, and you can see the two. I'll just put that back for now because I'm not doing that right now. Then there'll be things I might maybe want to do in effect. if we go into tinting, I mean, I can do tinting, or I can do like a film color effect. So if I do tinting, just for example's sake, I'm just going to do a quick one. There's lots of options you can do with tinting. You can do obviously blue, you can do warm colors. Just depends on the style of the video you want to go for. Cool is quite nice actually. It looks really good, and you can play around and do silly stuff. But or you can just go for the natural sort of look, and you can play about with it. You know what strength you want it to be, how warm you want it to be, the saturation to the gamma as well. So it just depends on the look of the video. But for now, I'm not going to worry about that just at the minute, because I'm still not sure as to what I want to do. Because right now I just want to focus on getting it the same throughout. So I tend to find once I decide how I'm going to put the shots together, then I try and repeat that throughout the video. Easier said than done, believe it or not. It's not easy to repeat what you've done sometimes, because you're working in different shots and different rhythms and things like that. So you've watched the first minute, and with the first minute you've got 30 seconds of slow, and the slow is, there's lots of little overlays and lots of, you know, these sorts of things. And then when you go into the second 30 seconds, it's quite fast, and there's lots of little chops, and it kind of goes with the music, and they're dancing quite a lot. So you're going from the wide, then back into the mid, and then getting a close shot of his face at that particular moment, and it is quite fast. And then in the middle of it, I've added some slow motion shots, which are lovely. Now, they're not slow motion, and they're not the best for focus, unfortunately. Well, I mean, there is loads of them. I just wanted to pick out, from that particular shot, I just wanted to pick out the best bits. So, I mean, the best bits where they're doing tricks seem to be a little bit out of focus and things like that. All of this was filmed at 50 frames, so I can slow it down by half. And that's what I did for these shots here. You can see this one isn't in focus as strong as the second one, but it still looks good because of what she's doing. It actually kind of works still, you know, so I don't mind that it's a little bit out of focus. And this one goes into focus, and then, yeah. So the shots for this are kind of bouncing between the actual routine that they did, and then there's a little few random shots as well in there. And then I tried to bring in the singer at some point so you can see him sort of faded. I've put him in black and white for all his shots because of the simple fact he was wearing a green shirt. And it kind of just, it's too obvious, you know? Between the print and the green and the style of it, it just didn't work, I think, for the video. You know, the dancers were dressed in black, so, you know, him in green just stood out far too much. So that's why I put it all in black and white, and I think it looks much better for it. So what I need to do now is move on to the next section, and I'm gonna try and repeat this for the next slow section. So that style. So if we go to the next slow section, that's where I'm gonna start. Now I kind of got to here and then didn't know what I'm doing. So if I just press play, I'll show you it sort of rough, and then I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna edit it, and you're just gonna watch me, and I'm gonna try and talk you through it.
When the sky is clear and the stars are out, windows from heaven above.
All right, so all I've done at this point is actually sync the shots, so I haven't actually thought about layout or anything. And as you can see, there's big gaps where we need to fill in some shots. So if I go back to here, because it seems to be, it just kind of randomly doesn't do anything here. So we've got this great shot where she's on the floor actually, and we actually have this shot in close. So I'm gonna find it close, and I'm gonna find it close if I can. I'm blind actually at the minute, hold on. Oh, there it is. So they did it really close, and then there's this part where he gives her a flower. And it's quite nice. There you go. That's the shot. So that needs to go in here somewhere. So let's see. It's just very orange shot. You see it come in. What I'll do is actually chop this up into about 2 parts because it's far too long. If I drag that in, it's just too long, see? So if we catch it on the wide, so there's the wide, and then he's going to give her a song, or give her a flower. I'm going to mute it out first, and I'm going to take just this part where we see the flower come in, even less than that. Let me just widen my timeline. Let's just see this flower come in. And I know there's a wide of this as well. So let me see if I can get the wide of the flower coming in. Hang on, somewhere here. There we go. Lovely. And then have the part where she lifts the flower, maybe be the next bit. Drag that down. Let's see what that looks like. So it kind of goes from down and then hang on, it's not perfect yet. So we go from the close to the wide. So let's copy and paste this shot out again. I'm still going to use a bit of it where we get the close of her face. That's gorgeous. And let's see if we can catch her smiling. Smile. Let's see. She looks at him at one point. Yeah, she's looking at him like, yeah. So I think if we got it, she's receiving the flower, and then back to the wide shot. She's got the flower in her hand. I'm going to make these shots a lot faster, but I'm just pulling them out for now. And then back to the close shot where she looks at him, I think. So it's boom, boom, boom. I don't know if that's going to work because it might be too much. Because the song kind of dies. It's like, it just goes really slow, so it doesn't really make sense. But kind of like her, the way she turns her head and smile. Stop. There, it's quite a long shot. But okay, so this particular part doesn't really start anyway. So we do have time to work with. So it's a case of maybe shortening some of this. A little bit more than that, and seeing how that can all come in. So I can shorten that a bit. Oh. And then she's got the rose or the flower, whatever it is, and then boom. I'm not promising this is going to work, but we can try. I'm just going to put crossfade at the beginning of it so it makes sense. It's kind of fading out. As you can see, some of these shots are orange.
When sky.
Right, and then this would fade out a little bit slower, nice and slow. I think would be nice. It's a little bit fast. I can play around with it and see what works better. Let's see.
When sky.
Okay, that kind of worked. Even though there's no music there, it kind of worked all right. But first of all, everything is looking orange, so I'm just going to go in and just play with the white balance for a minute, just so it looks right, because it's going to annoy me. It's all looking orange, and then you go into these beautiful crisp white shots. It's a bit better. Probably still have to tweak a lot of those shots, like for their white balance, but let's have a look at that. Lovely. Now let's go back and just watch that last section. Spin, 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 and down, and then flower comes out of nowhere. Quite literally. But it kind of works, you know. I don't know if that needs to come in earlier. Let me take it back. Yeah, there needs to be, it's too long. This whole section here is too long. So we could take the wide on that, take it back to where his hand is out. I don't know, where does this hand come from in the first place? It comes from up there and then comes down. It's quite a process for it to come down. Maybe we take it from a bit more than that. Okay, so I'm about there. Nope, maybe more. You can see the flower coming into shot, and I'm actually just gonna put it there. Oh, as if it's, I don't know, that might not work, but let's try it. Oh, that was too fast. Where's the shot? I've lost the shot. It's gone missing. It's in there somewhere. Hold on. There it is. Okay, let's remove that crossfade and let's put this in there. Maybe a bit more, and then a little bit of a, because to fade it. If I'm mumbling, please let me know. Oh, did it work? Let's have a look.
When
I don't know. I mean, I think it feels a little jumpy. It needs to be smoother. So I think it would be good if some of these just sort of went like that with a little bit of a cross. Quite literally a little cross. We just do that. We cross them. And then let's zoom out. And let's have a look at that section.
when sky
I think this shot is far too short. And I can't really see it happening. So maybe we should just lengthen it a little bit and maybe take this shot out a little bit because it's kind of annoying. That's just a shot of the guy, the singer, doing a little dance. Okay. No, it needs to be more faded in. That's what it is. Feels like it's jumping. I'm gonna make a bigger crossfade. Take that out. Try that again.
when
Lovely.
sky
Kind of works. I mean, obviously here you know he doesn't have the rose, so maybe, and then boom, he has a rose. So I don't know. I'll come back to it, but I think it's a good start for that section where we needed to put that in. But I'll come back to it. I like to watch the video 30,000 times before I decide, usually on shots, but that's a good start. Now let's have a look. Next section. So I've moved on to the next section, which is again a slow section. So that was the intro to the slow section, kind of. So now it's all quite slow.
sky is clear and the stars
Simple
are out.
movements. These lovely detail shots of the hands, which is great stuff. There's not a lot of shots for this particular section. There's a few good feet shots, so I might put those in to break it up a little bit. I'm just going to copy and paste that over because let's just check the shot. What she was doing in the middle of that. See that work?
And the stars are out.
Don't think that really works. Boring feet. Boring feet. So let's see, she's doing a spin there.
Never forget.
Yeah, there's a spin there. So if I can get the spin of the feet at the same time of the spin in the wide shot. Now, for some reason, they're not exactly in time together because this is quite an unusual dance in the sense that it's not really to a beat. It's kind of to a rhythm more than a beat, so it's not always in time. So you can see she's done the spin. Now let's see if I can...
Never forget.
It's there. We only want a little clip of that coming in. And let's see if that looks nice.
Forget.
Lovely. Yay. And so you got 2 feet shots there coming in. So just keep my timeline tidy. So yeah, so I mean, editing is a slow process. I could just sit here and show you this entire video, but that would be a very, very long tutorial. So I'm just trying to show you the main stuff of what I do. And how I edit really on a day-to-day. I think for this particular video, I'm probably going to put a little bit of a color on it and come away, and I'm going to sharpen it, make it more stronger, with the gamma, and I'm probably gonna put, I don't know if I'll put a tint on it. I mean, I could try a film effect. I'll have a look and see if there's any nice film effects available that look good. Ignore what it's doing at the minute. Hold on. I mean, these are all presets and you can play around with them, and I play around with them quite a lot. But, ooh, no, that's not nice. Boring. There's lots of different things you can do. Generally, if I want a color tone, like that's quite nice. Then what I would do, say, I mean, I'm not going to go for this, but say I was, then what I would do is then play with how much it's in. I might take it down a bit, so there I've reduced it substantially. And then you want to, take it down a little bit. It just, so it's not so, but it just, that sort of warmed the video up. And then play around with things like, you can do so many different things with the colors, and it just depends on what the look. This is kind of nice. You know, I can do this kind of effect, and where it's picking up the light, it's called burn. It's actually picking up the light itself, and then it's highlighting it with color, which is cool. Dodge, it kind of dodges the color. It's quite nice too. And then grain merge, which is the one we had, and then difference grain extract. There's so many different ways you can do it. So I would come in and just have a look at, you know, colors, and you know, it's going on blues, reds, pinks, things like that, and creating that sort of vibe. Other things I can do in here, obviously, like I don't know, borders. Sometimes I would just do a soften border. You can do split screen. You can do, my goodness, there's so many things you can do. But what I find is my biggest tip is the best kind of effects you can do are none. Because, you know, I mean, if you're working on low budget music videos like me, the best kind of thing you can do is actually just film good, you know, and do really, really good film work. And that is what will help your video. So this is just creating like a blur on the outside. Soft white blur. Defocus blur. I would do a defocus border sometimes. Sometimes if we filmed on the wrong lens, say for example, and there's just too much going on in the background, by doing a defocus border, and you can play with it, that it'll come right, you know, into your people, you know, in the middle there. And what it does is then it just keeps the focus on the project there, like the dancers. And you can do so many different things with it, and it's really good if you've got, like, you know, if you've got loads of people in the background, if you're in a busy street, or if sometimes I think in a forest it can be too many trees and too much green, and by using a nice border of some sort, no, not that, but by defocusing, you know, the edges and just bringing the focus back to the middle here, sometimes it works really, really well, and you can really get really specific with it as well. Which is nice. So there are many effects in, I mean, any software comes with so many different things that you can do. I mean, but as I say, editing is one of those things. Ooh, there's glitter up there. That's kind of nice. It's not really the style of this video, but, you know, good times. Editing is really about your creative eye. It's more about the creative eye than it is about your skill and your knowledge of a software. I mean, you could know this software in and out and know every effect and know how to do everything. But if you don't have a creative eye and a musical eye, and that's what it comes down to, is knowing how to make shots work together, then you're going to struggle. It's as simple as that. Like, obviously, I just created that little section and I wanted it to bounce from her feet to the wide, and then back, and then down again. Look at that. And that flows so nicely, you know, without me having to put on all these special effects, which are rubbish. You know, so you don't want to be going too crazy on special effects. The only time, well, not the only time, but a lot of the time, if I'm doing loads of special effects, it's because maybe the film work is not good and we got to make it look better. So when I say special effects, I mean like layers and, I don't know, just color effects and all those kinds of things. So this is my music video I'm working on at the minute. I can't really show you much more than that because, to be fair, we'll be here all day. I mean, this is a couple of hours worth of work and I can't show you that amount of work in a tutorial, but I hope that I've given you some tips. And this is a very basic video. There's nothing complicated about this editing. Only thing I still have to do is work on the color and what I'm going to do. And I've showed you some examples of what I might do. The other thing, the final thing I'm going to do is going to be skin touch-up. For the simple fact that it will just make everybody look beautiful. I don't always do skin touch-ups on videos. Usually it's for women. It's a big female thing. And it depends on the budget because touch-up is a time-consuming thing to do, and I only do it when I'm getting paid for it. Now, on my particular software, there's two types of touch-up. There's regular touch-up, which is this one here, and it's all right. Like, it's not brilliant, but it's all right. What it does, it's such a slow process doing touch-up. What it does is just touch up the whole frame, so the entire shot. So every inch of it, like, it's not about skin, it's just about, and as you can see, she's just gone animated. And I try not to go too far with this sort of thing because you lose all the definition in the hair and you lose definition if there's something in the background or clothing and things like that. So I never put it higher. If I'm using this on a general shot, I only use it for close face shots and things like that and sort of half shots like this. I would never ever go more than 20%, because otherwise it's too much. And she just will start there. You get the definition back in the hair. Here you can see the definition came back. So if you put it back to what it was, all of a sudden she's like a smudge. And it just looks unrealistic. So I'd put it back down to 20, and then the definition in her hair will come back. Give it a second, it's a bit slow. There we go. So yeah, so you can see, but her skin and everything is now looking nice and clean, and you just hit OK. And if you look at that, you can see it's just such a difference, you know. And let me just make that shot bigger. It's not showing it in full quality yet, so when I render it you'll see it in full quality, but I'll give you an idea. If I remove it now, you see, watch, I'm gone, and boom, you can see all her redness and all her little spots and things have just come back. The other type of touch-up they have is actual skin touch-up. Now, skin touch-up is much more specific, and it's actually really, really good. I actually enjoy the results you get with it because it does just pick out skin. And because of this particular shot, because it picks up on color. So if you're picking up on a pink skin like the way she is, let's see, I'll show you. Then you pick out the pink skin and it'll only touch up the pink skin. So ignore, it's not working yet. I have to set it. It doesn't just work automatically. Unfortunately, it does have to be set, and it takes a lot of tweaking to get it perfect. But what I find is, if I was using this shot throughout the whole video, this particular headshot, then I would set it for that headshot, and then all I'm doing is copy and pasting the attributes from one shot to the next. So I don't have to tweak every single shot. You know, there is fast ways of doing this. So let me just see. It's light skin, so we know that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pick out the color. So if we just take the cursor or the pointer thingy-majobber, and you can do, there's so many ways of doing these kinds of things, and I've done so many tutorials, but if you just then pick out her skin, then it will just pick out her skin and it'll only touch up her skin. And it's very good, like, you know, and then you can obviously, oh, I just put on the mask by mistake and my computer is freaking out. We'll take that off, thank you. Okay, so if you always find this absolutely kills the computer. If you just pull out her skin, you can see her skin is generally the same tone, then it will just pick out her skin and it will just smooth out those sections. So you really just want it to smooth out her cheeks and her face and stuff like that, and her head. And there you go, boom, that's it done. And as you can see, she's now smooth as a baby's bum, but her hair and her clothes have remained the same. And that's really, really nice. I love that. That's actually quite a new feature on this software, so it's a really good feature. But again, it is time consuming, and I wouldn't do it for every video. It just depends on the video and the person and, you know, how much they've paid me. Unfortunately, it's not a job I do for cheap because it's so time consuming. So yeah, and you can see there that she just looks immaculate. And it's not taken away from, you can see it's smooth all these areas. Now, it has not smooth here and here, and this is where it gets quite frustrating, because it's almost like you got to go in and you got to do 2 layers of it. So a layer that'll pick up all this nice whiteness, and then a layer that'll pick up this kind of more pinky redness because of the way it's been lit. So that's what I said about it being tedious. It's a bit a pain. So that's it when it comes to touch-up. That's why sometimes it's quicker just to do an overall touch-up. No wasting time. And then boom, back to normal. And that's how they all look on the TV screen when you think they got immaculate skin. They don't. It's touch-up. So that's it in a nutshell for today. I don't think I can show you much more. I mean, you could sit and watch me edit, but we'll be here all day, unfortunately. It is a process. And it's not something I could show in a tutorial and you'll be falling asleep. I'm sure as long as you're not falling asleep now, then we're good. But yeah, so I hope I've given you some tips. I'm going to do a few more of these because some music videos I do are very different and how I edit them are very different to this one. This is quite a simple one. I'm going to put up some really complicated ones next week. Some ones where I've done lots of special effects and overlays and color effects and those kinds of things. So look out for those, and please subscribe to my channel. We're always up for teaching and we love teaching, and I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.